Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Spartan Daily roundtable discussion and review of Avengers: Age of Ultron. My name is Jonathan Wald. I'm joined here by the rest of the team. Let's assemble that team.
I'm Rafael Stroud.
And I'm Henry Navarro.
Well, first off, before we get started, let's just remind everyone watching that we are definitely going to talk about some spoilers here. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, go pause the stream right now, go run out to your local movie theater, watch the movie, and then come back and watch the review and see what you think and see if you agree with what we thought. And let's get right into the movie. I mean, it's Avengers: Age of Ultron. What did you guys think of Ultron?
I kind of think Marvel might have a problem with creating villains who, at a first glance, they look really cool and intimidating, but then when you kind of think about what they actually did during the plot, it kind of feels like they're neutered a bit. Because he didn't really have a real impact emotionally on the team. He didn't really get to do much because his main threat was being able to access all the technology in the world through the internet, and we find out that already got handled off screen. So I feel like even though James Spader did a really good job performing him, he wasn't actually a well-written villain.
Right, yeah, and we don't really get a lot of development as we do, say, other villains like Loki, and then now we're going to be getting a lot of Winter Soldier with his contract. He has a 9-picture deal. Sebastian Stan does Winter Soldier. Loki's going to be coming back in the third Thor. So this Ultron, great portrayal by Spader, but we just get to see him this one movie, and I kind of wish we got more. What
did you guys think about his role compared to how Ultron shows up in the comics?
Yeah, in both mediums, he's a threat. We definitely get more of his backstory fleshed out in the comics. He's created by Hank Pym. People may know him as Ant-Man, which we'll be seeing. Although in the cinematic universe, Ant-Man comes after Ultron, so no relation there. But once again, giving Tony Stark another plot point already in this movie.
And I think a problem with that is that they probably could have used Age of Ultron to introduce Hank Pym and I think it's got Paul Rudd's playing, who's Scott Lang in Ant-Man. They could have used that to introduce them. But they made it so that Ultron was kind of like a dark reflection of Stark. And I think Spader did a good job mimicking Robert Downey Jr.'s like mannerisms and comedic timing. But the problem is there's not a lot of interaction between Ultron and Stark to kind of make you feel like it's a Frankenstein's monster kind of thing where the monster is trying to create his master and the master is having, difficulties putting him down. And in the end, it's not even Iron Man who deals the final blow, it's Vision.
Another one of Tony's creations.
Right.
Kind of.
Sort of, yeah.
Well, let's move on. I thought one of the big breakout stars of this Avengers film was Hawkeye. He got a lot more screen time this time around, and I thought he had some of the best character development throughout the whole movie. What did you guys think?
I think it's really fortunate they did that because, he literally had no development in any of the other movies outside of this one. But the way they did develop him was really good. It shows you he has a family, he's a caring guy. And, it shows he's more than just a guy with a bow and arrow next to a team of, superheroes and stuff. And he even references that in a funny way. And he turned out to be, the most likable character in the movie, because of that.
Yeah, and it just shows that at least Whedon cares about this character. As a director, because we're not going to see him that much anymore after Civil War. It's probably not going to be till Infinity War, so at least we get this, so Hawkeye fans can rejoice with this film, at least.
And I thought they kind of fleshed out his humor and personality quite a bit more in this, that a little more accurate to the comics. Hawkeye, bit of a jokester as well.
Yeah, he's definitely the comic relief.
Yeah. Let's move on to the other new characters introduced in this movie, the twins. You had Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Let's start with Scarlet Witch. I thought Joss Whedon did a very interesting camera technique using kind of like a horror type effect whenever she used her powers. Like, you got a creepy feel. What did you guys think?
I noticed that definitely. I thought it was really good because her whole powers, they call it like, basically psychic. But I know, from what I know, it's really, she can pretty much warp reality to what she wants it to be. And they did a good job of like showing the distortion with screen effects and the disorientation with the characters. And, she was basically bringing their nightmares to life, and I thought they did do a really good job of that.
Yeah, and let's not forget she's now a new Avenger, and so we will see her again in Civil War. And if you saw the outfit at the end, it looks really good, and I can't wait to see more of her.
And let's move on to her brother, Quicksilver.
Who we won't be seeing again.
Yeah. I really liked Quicksilver. I thought it was going to be really hard for them to break out and create a different version of Quicksilver to stand out because Quicksilver probably stole the show in X-Men Days of Future Past. And this Quicksilver, very different, but still, I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, I think the one from X-Men was more entertaining to watch, but this one definitely was a better written character because he was an actual character, not just a gimmick used for one scene. That being said, yeah, he kind of came and went really fast, and I think that I feel like me personally, he didn't have enough screen time for us to get attached to him. They gave him one screen time. I mean, they gave him one scene to like flesh out his backstory, and that's it. And then he dies heroically, and that was Quicksilver.
Yeah, but he might not be 100% dead. This is a comic book property here, so a little Infinity
Who stays
Stone.
dead in comics?
Yeah, like Coulson, for example, is the biggest example. He got his own TV show after
Josh
that.
Whedon wanted him to stay dead, actually. That was
Yeah.
a decision that went over his
But
head. So, yeah.
That was actually one of the things I was disappointed with. No Coulson cameo in Avengers.
Yeah.
That was that hit me right here.
If Whedon has his way, he's not going to show up in the movies. As far as he's concerned, he's dead when it comes to the movies, and he's just going to stay on the TV show.
Well, how much does Whedon have away now? Because he's not going to be directing any more videos anymore,
Yep,
any
the
movies. So
Russos are taking over.
yeah,
Well, let's move on to the next new character that was introduced really 3/4 of the way through the film. That's the Vision. Paul Bettany steps out from just being Jarvis, gets a body now, gets a lot of makeup and effects to be put on him. And I was intrigued by the character, but again, it didn't seem like he got a lot of screen time. What did you guys think?
I think at least he's going to be around to get more screen time to flesh out his character. I thought he was actually a really good character. One thing I do wish is that I wish Marvel didn't broadcast like how important he would be in the plot before the movie actually came out, because it kind of took a little bit away from it. Like every time they mentioned the mysterious guy helping them out against Ultron, it's like, oh, that's Vision. We all know it's Vision because they told us it's going to be Vision like 3 months before the movie came out. So, yeah, it kind of took away a little bit, but I still thought he was a really good character overall.
yeah. But I don't think it took away from his performance, though. I mean, we did see him a lot in the trailers and leading up to it, but I think he did a great job playing this new hero, this new Avenger, who once again we will see in Civil War next year, and maybe after that somewhere also, because he is being powered by an Infinity Stone, too.
So he's definitely going to tie in
Right, he's
down the
part of the
line.
bigger picture.
And
yeah.
let's look ahead here a little bit. I thought it was interesting how much of really Thor's story was just foreshadowing Infinity War, it seemed like.
Or Ragnarok. Yeah, or, well, both.
Or both.
Really. Yeah. I think they probably should have done a little less of that, because I know we all know they have movies and sequels that they have planned out, but it's like, if you spend so much, I thought that part was actually a bit of a drag when he went out of his way to go find the waters that they don't really explain to us what they really are, and to kind of just foreshadow what's going to happen, and it's kind of like a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing, how he helps create Vision through that. But I feel like they spent so much time foreshadowing, it dragged down the plot of the movie they're supposed to be, fleshing out.
Right. And originally, Whedon did have an end credit scene with Heimdall and Loki, and it was supposed to be setting up a Thor Ragnarok with Thor coming back to Asgard, but they took that out in post-editing. So,
Well, speaking of looking ahead, let's also look ahead. A lot of foreshadowing here, I thought, to Avengers or Captain America: Civil War. Now, Joss Whedon said that he wasn't actually aware that they were going to do Civil War at the time that he was writing the script and whatnot, putting that all together. But I thought there were still clues being thrown throughout the film, just showing little cracks between Tony and Cap.
You could say that, but you could also argue those cracks were kind of already there in Avengers, because they butted heads in that movie. Then at the end, they kind of were like, "Yeah, we're ideologically different, but we still work together fine." And it kind of felt like that the same way here. Like if we didn't know Civil War was happening, and people kind of went into an expectation that you would see their relationship get worse, but to me, it kind of felt the same as the first movie. They butted heads a little bit. There's going to be more of that head-butting further down the line, but then ultimately, they were fine by the end of the film. Like, it didn't really seem like there were a lot of hard feelings or anything. So, I don't know, maybe in Civil War or in between, they're going to introduce a new conflict. But I feel like that was a little bit of a wasted opportunity. But now that you say that he didn't actually know they were doing that, it kind of makes sense. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we might even get wind of it on Ant-Man, because usually they always set up for the film after. Well, not in this case, because we didn't get anything about Ant-Man. But I think maybe in the post-credit scene or even during, we're going to hear about something, maybe a registration act to unveil the secret identities, and that could be what they butt heads over. So it's interesting to see what's going to be the device leading them toward their disagreement.
Well, they do seem to be on their way to Infinity War. Thanos had the post-credit scene. Only the one post-credit scene this time around. No shawarma at the end of the credits. Was that a missed opportunity, guys?
I don't think this is a movie that there should have been like a little jokey credit scene at the end. I thought the mid-credits of Thanos finally stepping out, I thought that was fine, honestly.
I don't know. I was kind of used to the comedic credit scene. We got the one with Banner not paying attention to Stark in Iron Man 3. And then in Thor, we got that wild creature from the frost giant planet roaming around. And then Guardians of the Galaxy, we had baby Groot dancing while Drax was sharpening his knife.
And Howard the Duck.
Yeah, that too, right? Yeah.
Maybe it could be Marvel's way of saying, things are about to get a little more serious from here on out.
Yeah, well, Civil War's coming, so
Right.
and Infinity War is coming,
Yeah.
so it's only gonna get serious.
Well, let's actually bring in the fourth member of our team now. We've got Marissa Trigos here. She wrote the review for the Spartan Daily in print. And Marissa, welcome to the round table. And what did you think about the movie?
Hi, well, thanks for having me, you guys. I personally love the movie. I actually wrote it with a fellow staff writer, Taylor Atkinson, and we gave the movie 4.5 out of 5 stars. I agree with a lot of your guys' points about, overall, I think Joss Whedon did a great job of just portraying this movie and did a great job with a lot of the character development, and I was happy to see more of that in this film, for sure.
What was one of the keys that you picked up on in your review about the movie? Like, what did you really think stood out?
Oh gosh, there was so much. I mean, I think just one of the things I loved was how Scarlet Witch was kind of used as a device to further along that character development of all of the different Avengers. We see that they have a darker side. Something that we mentioned, it makes them more human to us, more relatable, and it's nice to see that dark and that vulnerable side of all of these different Avengers. And then in contrast with Hawkeye, it's nice to, because we already know he's human.
Right.
He's very he's very vulnerable to us. A little too much. And now we can finally see that he deserves to be there too. And we got to see him be an actual hero. And I liked that contrast a lot, for sure.
So you said overall 4.5 out of 5 stars?
Yes, for sure.
All right, let's go around the rest of the table here. What did you guys think? 4 out of 5 stars, and maybe an overall overall final review.
I'd give it 3.5 out of 5, personally. I felt like it had a lot of good stuff, but it had a lot of kind of, in my opinion, little negative things that you can't really ignore about it.
Henry?
Maybe I'd give it a 4, but it definitely can't compete with Winter Soldier for me. That's like the top of the crop right there for Marvel. And then they got the same directors coming back for Civil War and the 2-part Infinity War, so I can't wait for that. It's only going to get bigger and better.
All right, well, personally, I thought it was very, very good. A very, very good Marvel movie, but Marvel set the bar so high so many times. Avengers, Winter Soldier,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like those are up a little bit higher, but Ultron is right underneath that and probably the best of the rest. That's personally where I'd put it.
Yep.
Any final thoughts, things you're looking forward to going ahead?
I'm looking for more lesser characters getting put more into the forefront. And I hope with Civil War having so many characters, even Ant-Man's going to be in it, I just want to see some of the characters we don't see as much come and get some more spotlight.
Yeah, I'd agree. That basically, yeah.
Well, that's just about going to wrap things up for us here today. I'd like to thank the entire panel, Raphael, Henry, Marissa, and then I have been Jonathan Wold. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you liked our review, and I hope you liked Avengers Age of Ultron.